Who here loves or enjoys the sport of football? I'm pretty confident that most people in this room, or at least a great majority, can can confidently say that yes, they love the sport of football, or at the very least enjoy it, due to the fact that they grew up with it. It's something that is just around them culturally. That's massive. Financially, something that is massive here in this country too, and it's just something that you just can't avoid no matter where you go in this country. And something that has always sat wrong with me as a football player myself is the way that our players and youth players especially are always at the risk of concussions due to the fact that the sport simply isn't safe enough at a very young level. This is something that's backed up by a CDC study conducted in 2025, as the study states that a CDC study published in Sports Health found that youth tackle football players at ages 6 to 14 sustain 15 times more head impacts than flag football athletes during a game or practice. This is something that simply causes a lot more concussions that need to happen. And there's honestly a simple way how to fix this. But first, I need to explain what a concussion is. How do we get these concussions and what do they mean? Second of all, I want to explain the long-term effects of getting repeated concussions. And lastly, I'm going to explain how we can make the sport of football a better and safer sport. My first point is what's a concussion and how do we get this concussion? The best way to explain it is that imagine your brain, yes, your brain, is a little ball inside a jar. And this jar is your skull. You can shake the skull a little bit and you'll see the ball just fine. The jar won't break, nothing's gonna break. But when you shake the jar violently, that little ball might break. And that's exactly what happens with a concussion. When you get hit super strong, your brain inside your skull hits and moves around all over your skull, which isn't something that's supposed to do. Therefore, this causes a concussion. Concussions, when you first get a concussion, you might feel nauseous, dizzy, or you just might lose memory and not know what you're saying. I can firsthand attest to this. And it's something that over time is something that is very bad for your health. As over time, once you keep on getting concussions over and over and over again, you will eventually, sadly, get neurodegenerative diseases such as CTE, among many others. Cognitive decline and these neurodegenerative diseases are something that is very big between ex-football players and current football players even, due to the fact that all these hits and all these concussions that just don't go noticed add up. As McAllister and McCrea stated in 2018, over the last decade, many concerns have focused on the possibility that some athletes' repeated concussions may raise long-term risk for cognitive decline and neurobehavioral changes, and added on to this, neurodegenerative diseases. And it's something that is very bad for the human body, and it's something that simply just can't be allowed due to the fact that it's our bodies that are at risk. Furthermore, you might be saying, well, if it's something that's bad, then shouldn't football just be banned and canceled because it's something that we just can't fix? But I'd like to disagree with that due to the fact that there's simply other ways to go about it, whether it be rule changes and by having more safety equipment and protections in place. One protection that we can have in place is called a guardian cap. A guardian cap is an extra layer of protection that goes around a football player's helmet that is meant to add as another barrier in place between the brain, skull, helmet, and the physical contact that goes outside. Another thing that might be put on is new rule changes, such as the new NFL kickoff rule, which makes players line up in a closer distance than it did with the old kickoff rule, which just caused a lot of concussions and hurt a lot of people. And lastly, we need to have a lot of monitoring in place so we know that our players are safe. As Dye stated in 2018, careful monitoring of concussion injuries in these groups can help prevent further injuries. So in summary, concussions are something that happens when your brain is hit, and it's honestly something that's very bad for you, as repeated concussions will lead to neurodegenerative diseases such as CTE, among many others. And there's a lot of things that we can do to prevent this, such as new rule changes and better safety equipment and better rules to prevent them. And if there's a quote that I think personally it perfectly encapsulates everything that I've talked about during this speech is that it's one stated by Dr. Bennett Omando, which is a doctor that's worked with a plethora of ex-NFL players and football players. Of all the NFL players that I've examined examined pathologically, I have not seen one that did not have changes in their brain with brain damage. This just proves and is a testament to how much CTE and all these hits massively affect these football players. Thank you guys for listening and hope to see you soon.